What's up, YouTube? This is Mario Stanton again, back with another one. This one is going to be about Black Panther and the um, criticisms that's been about not necessarily Black Panther the movie itself, but about people's response to Black Panther. First, let me say a few things. One, um, please bear with me. I'm my studio is still under construction, and it should be ready in about I want to say about 3 months. So for the time being, just like I have a place to be by myself and make these videos. I'm gonna be doing this out of my car. So I know it's not very fun to watch. I know it's not great quality. I know there's going to be a lot of distractions and whatnot. But please bear with me. I'm going to make it up. I'm going to make these videos better. I promise. It's just that right now there's so much going on with the construction of my house and the construction of the studio within my house. So I ask you guys, please bear with me. I appreciate you guys being patient with me. I appreciate you guys watching these videos anyway, despite the production quality. And I appreciate your support. So I just want to say that first of all. So what I want to get into in particular is the Ben Shapiro criticisms of the Black Panther movie and the criticisms by other people I've seen on the internet of the Black Panther, not necessarily the movie itself, but the hype and the fanfare surrounding the movie. Because a lot of people, I don't think they really understand what's going on and why it is that, let's say, a lot of black people or whatever are, doing the most regarding this movie. This movie, despite what they may think, is a very big deal. So let me first say that is a very big deal, and is a big deal for a number of reasons. I'll get into that later. So when Ben Shapiro makes his arguments, he makes a bunch of straw man arguments, and one of those is that there's somehow this thought that Black Panther, this movie, is somehow more important than the things within history to happen to black folks. He's talking about, it being more important to the abolition of slavery. And he says it happened 200 years ago. Well, that's wrong. It happened maybe a little over 150 years ago, 153 years ago to be exact. But whatever. But this movie is not more important than the civil rights movement. It's not more important than the abolition of slavery. It's not more important than the ending of apartheid. It's not more important than the lives of Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or Marcus Garvey and that stuff. So let me put that out there for black people. And, not necessarily for black people, like I'm speaking to black people, but let me put it out there on behalf of black people, because that's not what we're thinking here when it comes to this movie. It is not more important than those things. So, so then he talks about, why can't we be, why is we making a big deal out of this movie? And, when we had black superheroes in the past, whatever, black superheroes in the past. And we had many black superhero movies. I wouldn't say many as in like there's been an awful lot of them. There's been a relative few black superhero movies in comparison to white superhero movies. Just to name a few that I won't necessarily talk about, and there's going to be a number of them that I will talk about, but just to name the ones that I'm not going to talk about, in particular, let's say Hancock. Hancock is a black superhero movie, and Meteor Man is a black superhero movie. Now, the thing is about Hancock, like all the other black superhero movies that I will talk about, have a mostly white cast, and the black main character is basically the only black character in the movie. And if there are other black characters in the movie with speaking roles, then they're minor characters with like maybe one, maybe two, three lines or whatever at the most. Now, Meteor Man was a black superhero character. Now, it wasn't based off any comic strip or comic book. It was done by Robert Townsend, and it featured an all or mostly black cast. But the movie was kind of silly and corny, and it really didn't, it really didn't do well in the box office, and it wasn't a very high production value. So, so let's say in 1997, Spawn came out, and Spawn is a property of Image Comics. And in the movie, there were a cast of 33 people, and 5 of them were black folks. Now, so 5 divided into 33 is 15%. So you have a 15% black cast. But those black folks, whatever, in the movie Spawn, most of them were the family of the protagonist, Al Simmons. Now, if you know anything about Spawn or whatever, Al Simmons plays an assassin or a mercenary who gets killed, and because of his because of the fact that he killed so many people, he gets sent down to hell, and I guess Satan or the devil, whatever, makes him leader of a demonic army, which he's supposed to take to the surface to in order to take over mankind or whatever and everything. So right off the bat, we don't necessarily have a very good positive message or whatever coming from this black superhero. This black superhero is disfigured. He's barely recognizable as black. He doesn't, he doesn't necessarily have like an alter, human thing or whatever. He's just Spawn. So with that being said, the movie grossed $87 million worldwide, and it had a production budget of $40 million. So it made double what was cost, what the cost was to make the movie. So is that a successful movie? Yes and no, because even though Hollywood likes to make their production money back, and they would like to double their production money, they also would like to make a little bit more, let's say triple or quadruple their production value. That's when it becomes a blockbuster, So, so this movie, which grossed $87 million, it wasn't necessarily well received by the critics. So it's got like a 18% score on Rotten Tomatoes, I think right now, and for the most part, the reviews of the movie were poor. Roger Ebert gave it I think 3.5 out of 5, but for the most part, most of the other critics didn't necessarily like the movie, and it wasn't very well received by audiences. So the following year, Blade comes out, 1998, which is a Marvel Comics property, and it features a cast of 55 people, 5 of them being black, with mostly minor roles. Blade is Wesley Snipes is the only major role in the movie or whatever by a black person, which is a 9% cast, has a white director, white writer. And Spawn also had a white director and 4 white writers. So it had a 54% Rotten Tomatoes score. It was deemed generally good, and it was fairly successful at the box office. It was successful enough where they decided to make a sequel to the movie. So Blade 2 comes out 4 years later in 2002. And it made about $230 million at the box office, and this made it the most successful film out of the entire trilogy. It had a 57% Rotten Tomatoes score, and it had a cast of 48 people, three of them being black with minor roles, including Wesley Snipes, who had a major role, but the other 2 had minor roles, which made it a 6% black cast. Now, Ben Shapiro mentioned Catwoman. Now, Catwoman had a cast of 58 people. That came out in 2004. Had a cast of 58, 5 of them being black, most of them having minor roles, with the exception of Halle Berry, who had the only major role. And so that's 9% of black cast, and it grossed $82 million worldwide, and the production value was $100 million. So it didn't even make its money back. It didn't make its money back. no one received that movie that well. And, it has a 9% Rotten Tomato score. And it was loosely based off of the DC comic property, Catwoman. And Halle Berry wasn't the first person to do first black person to do Catwoman. Wasn't the only person of color to do Catwoman, and Catwoman has been done by black and white people alike. So it's not necessary. Catwoman was never written as a black superhero, whereas Blade and Spawn and Black Panther were. So then we go to Blade Trinity, which grossed 129 million, and had a 25% score on Rotten Tomatoes, and had a 51-person cast, 5 of them being black, which was roughly about a 10% black cast, and again, most of those black characters being minor roles. So, so now we fast forward to today, where you have the Black Panther, and the Black Panther has almost a full cast with nothing but black people. I would say, like, there's maybe a white, I think like 4 white characters or whatever, and a Korean character in the film that has speaking roles. And this is including Stan Lee, who does a cameo in all of the Marvel movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So this is a big deal. And then plus, King T'Challa's story is an empowering story, because he is a king of this technologically advanced African nation. And this is what is endearing about this. And this is why so many black people are excited about this story, because this is the first time that we get to see a big budget movie. $200 million was spent on the making of this movie, and a big budget movie that ties into the greater MCU. So this movie was necessary to be made, because it ties into everything. And then it being an almost fully black cast or whatever, with powerful black characters, where the white characters played a minor role. So, this is nothing. This has nothing to do with anything else. It's nothing to do with Barack Obama and other things, whatever. This is not about being a social justice warrior. This is about black people celebrating that, for once we get to play the hero in a mostly black big budget movie, and it be good. Meteor Man wasn't good. And the Blade movies were pretty good, I thought so, but they weren't necessarily received well. And Catwoman was awful, and Spawn was awful, and Hancock wasn't necessarily received well either. So, of course we're going to be excited about this, and of course we're going to do the most. So instead of hating, and instead of being on your high horse or whatever about what we should be excited about or whatever, maybe you should take the time out to appreciate the reasons why we're excited about this, and learn the reasons why we're excited about this, and just enjoy the movie for what it is. Getting a tweet from one misguided social justice warrior and making that seem that this is indicative of everybody who praises or likes Black Panther is disingenuous. It's very disingenuous. So this isn't a review or anything like that. I really, if you haven't seen the movie, I really encourage that you do see the movie. It's a very good movie. It talks about some very good things. It's not, as far as the feel of the movie as opposed to the comic books, whatever, it doesn't necessarily deviate from the film. From the comic books, there's always been like that undertone of geopolitical and geopolitical themes and sociological themes. But they take a little bit of liberty with some of the characters, or whatever. But that's okay. They make these characters great. So, I recommend that everybody see this movie or whatever, whether you white, black, Asian, Mexican, whatever, go see the movie. It's a very good movie or whatever. It's not necessarily one of those things where, no one else is invited but black folks, whatever. Don't think that. Everybody's invited to this movie because it's a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It ties in with, everything else that's going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and you must see this movie, whatever, to know what's going on in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, just like any of the other movies, Doctor Strange, Thor, Guardians of the Galaxy, anything like that. So I do highly recommend that you go see this movie. Don't believe the hype. Don't trip off the hype or whatever. If you black, we could get our dress up on. We can dance and we can celebrate and all this kind of stuff after. If you're not black or whatever, you could do your dance and you can do your celebrating. You can, basically just, enjoy it as a very good movie. But go see it. Don't let nobody discourage you from seeing this movie. It is a good movie. So, that's all I have to say about this. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Click on that thumbs up if you like this video. I look forward to hearing from you guys. Please subscribe to my channel. I know it's an up and coming channel, and like I said, this channel will improve or whatever. But please subscribe to my channel. Click on the bell if you want more notifications from this channel. And y'all be peace, YouTube. Thank you.